So the drivers are about to make their way into the double file formation. This is what GT drivers live for, one of the biggest grids of the season, the jewel in the crown. They all want to shine here. What about GT4 as well? We've got the Beechstein car, we've got Jake Giddings and Ross Wiley together. Champion from 2013, Ryan Ratcliffe's returning with Century. We've got Optima, of course. The others are now making their way through for the grid then. How are these drivers going to fare? Let's find out. So here's how the grid line up then. It is Andy Howard and Johnny Adam that line up on pole position. Their best way to try and get their first win of the season. Marco Attard and Alexander Sims in second for Akira Kos in front of Dryberg and Gore in the number 6 machine. Ahmed Al-Hadi and Michael Kane in P4 in front of Lee Mole and Joe Osborne in their 888 BMW in P5. Jody Firth and Warren Hughes put their track speed Porsche on the third row of the grid in front of Paul and Abra in 7th position. The United Autosports Audi of Patterson and Bell sits in 8th place in front of Liam Griffin and Rory Butcher in 9th. Then it's the Aston Martin Vantage of Strata 21 of White and Onslow Cole as the field make their way around the final corner. We're just getting ready for green flag racing here. 3 hours of Silverstone about to get away. A variety of cars, some of the best talent in GT racing now. 180 minutes about to get underway. The run down to turn 1 is officially green flagged. And let's just see how the Aston Martin's going to fare. Andrew Howard defends his lines already, and it's going to be a big moment there as the Akira Kos BMW tries to stay with him as they'll scramble their way through up in towards Maggotts and Beckett's for the first time. A car on the grass there. Hopefully a deal get through unscathed, and look at that. They fly now in towards Maggotts and Beckett's, and look at the lead already that number 1 Aston Martin has. Then it's the Akira Kos. Al-Hadi has got in front of Phil Dryber in the Aston Martin behind. Then you've got the track speed Porsche of Jody Firth. Another good start for him. Contact in the backfield that looked like one of the Ferraris, but they make their way down Wellington Straight for the first time, Charlie, and what a start it's been for that number 1 Aston.
Yeah, unfortunately there for Dylan there as well in the car number 13, a spin there just coming onto the Hangar Straight, so not a good start. But do these guys know it's an endurance race? That was quite a fraught first few corners. Unbelievable stuff. It's looking like war already.
Yeah, definitely, and we said earlier on it was Aston versus BMW power. It seemed to me like Ahmed Al-Hadi got the go-ahead on that Akira Kos BMW Z4, and you can see already the rear wing being taken off. Not the best start to a 3-hour endurance race, that's for sure, but already Al-Hadi under sufficient pressure. You can just see in the background as well, the Audi R8, the United Autosports car is there, the Nissan is there for Sir Chris Hoy. That's just broken inside the top 10, so big start there for the Flying Scotsman. We'll wait and see if he can capitalise on that further as we wait to come towards the end of the first lap, but the field looking relatively tidy after, as you said, Charlie, what was a pretty scruffy start.
Yeah, I think it was Attard that went very sideways just on the entry to Copse on the inside. Looks like he got a little bit of a tank slapper, so the car went from one way to the other way on cold tyres and just got squeezed into the tight apex at Copse. And then we saw a car going off on the grass, as you saw, and a few brake lights appear, and then the spin from number 13 Ferrari. So quite a fraught first lap, and you can see battles going on already, blocking happening. That's the car of Phil Keane, and
that's John Minshaw and Derek Johnston in the 888. And he's defended well, but he wasn't enough to hold off the Porsche, and through goes John Minshaw on what has been a pretty successful first lap for him. He's had to get a good start here today. The GT4 cars also making their way towards the end of their first encounter, but a big start by Andy Howard at the end of the first lap, 2.8 seconds lead. He could not ask for a better start than that, 3 seconds faster overall than Ahmad Al-Hadi in second. So it's Aston and Aston in front. Now we've got a Ferrari battle between. You can just see there, that is the FF Corsa machine of Gary Eastwood, trying to hold off a fellow machine. That's so difficult to do when you've got 2 cars so similarly paced, both of course manufactured by the same company. Very difficult to outsmart a fellow driver.
And also the last thing you want to do is take them off. That's the last thing you want to do. So let's have a bit of a replay of what happened at Beckett's. Let's have a look a bit further back in the field so we can see the Ferrari just on the right-hand side there. Yeah, that's it, middle of the pack, and then that clipped the wing of the Audi. So that's the Audi rear wing that's been lost there. So that's the Marshal will be putting that on eBay a bit later on, or giving it back to the team or whatever. But yeah, so the Audi will be pitting to get a new rear spoiler.
And I tell you what, I think Marco Attard will not be wanting to put his second place on eBay, but Phil Dryber may be wanting to buy it now. He's only a couple of seconds adrift as they go through the new pit straight. Now in towards Abbey for the second time today, and it's already building up fairly nicely. The GT3s have separated out into their own little battles. You can see already the big start that John Minshaw has had in his Porsche. And there is the race winner from last weekend at Rockingham, Gary Eastwood and Rob Bath, the pairing who had a fantastic event. Rob Bath's first ever win here in British GT. He's looking to once again build on that success here today and see what he can bring to the table. But he's got his work cut out for him, as you can see, the number 40 car there just behind of White. So there's the rear wing being refitted to the Audi Leicester. United Autosport's not hanging around at all. Yes, he got 3 hours, but all-time loss is so hard to make up here.
It's quite lucky, actually, it didn't take the posts with it, so you can see the little uprights there that hold the wing on to the actual car. It was lucky that they haven't been damaged too much. They'll probably be doing a driver change. Let's now go on board now with our second place man in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, the bright blue Oman racing car who's defending very hard at the moment in second from the black and blue BMW in third place of Marco Attard, and he has just set the fastest lap of the race at 2 minutes 6.574. Absolutely brilliant here as he tries to make it a dominant Aston 1-2.
So coming into the Beckett's and Maggots complex, dabbing down the brake, 1 gear change, back on the power again, really is pushing hard. Even though this is an endurance race, they're clattering over the curbs because they know they're going to get new tyres. And he's taken a second out of the leader on the last lap. He really is pushing hard. Michael Caine was right in saying that he really is going to push hard. And because these two are very, very talented drivers, they've got 75 kilos of extra weight. Michael Caine keeps saying it's 80 kilos, but I think that's just his meal he must have had last night. But it's actually 75 kilos of extra weight that they get penalised by.
Yeah, and so that is the United Autosports McLaren that will be pushed back out, the number 24 belonging to Geddy. So the rear wing has been refitted, and hopefully the race gets redone at the winner. That looks like the TF Sport 49, and that is not good there for Andrew Jarman. We'll try and get you an update. So the car, the TF Sport of Andrew Jarman and Devon Modell, has not had the perfect start in the opening few moments. That Aston is limping round. It's looking like it's not too heavily damaged, so fingers crossed shouldn't be held up too much longer by any further damages. But one man that may be needing to keep an eye on his rearview mirror is your current race leader and defending champion Andy Howard. So both of these drivers know what it's like to win. Both of them are very, very competitive, and Al Hardy, the prime motorsport driver in the Oman nation, has risen fantastically for his country, and we'll see what he can do here at Silverstone today. He would love to get another win this season.
Yeah, he's pushing very, very hard. He's just set the fastest lap as we've got another battle a little bit further back. So GT4 is the second sort of race going on in this class. They're moulded around more road cars, so they're more road car based. And look at them all a little bit further back in the field, having their own little battle. So we'll be concentrating on them throughout the race as well. So
yeah, 407, the sister car, the Beach Dean, that's currently being driven by young Jake Giddings. He's only 19. Very opportunistic drive here today, and already the Beach Deans have made significant progress in terms of the GT4 class. 2.5 point lead, and with TF Sport, the nearest competitor, having a bit of trouble, it seems. That could extend. You can just see behind there the number 48 car. Now that belongs to Paul McNeely and Jamie Stanley. McNeely at the wheel at the moment. It's all getting very up close and personal, isn't it? In those Ginettas, all very mixing. He's going side by side, and that's the number 55 of Ollie Basie-Fisher, he's trying to get alongside there. It's a drag race now as they go down the Wellington Straight, and this race already starting to take some fantastic shape. So Ollie Basie-Fisher in the black Ginetta is starting to look a little bit more racy. A cone being knocked off there, and look at Jake Giddings starting to really apply pressure to the car in front, the number 69 machine of May. So the Porter in the GT4 trying to fly the flag for Porsche at the moment, under a lot of pressure from the race winners of Beach Dean.
it's actually the first time that's been out, that car as well. It's a new entry this weekend, that sort of Kermity coloured green car, so that's doing very, very well actually. It's holding its own for the first outing this weekend.
Yeah, it really is. We'll see how it can fare as the race wears on, but they want to put another commentator's curse on it, as I think Rick Parfitt's had a bit too much bad luck this season already, but he's been into 2 rounds. Both times the cars seem to break down, and we've mentioned him here on Motor TV, but he's currently leading the GT4 class again, and that's going to feel good for him behind the wheel. Yeah,
he didn't want to chat to our Martin Haven from on the grid earlier. He goes, I don't want to talk to Motors TV because every time you talk to me, my car always breaks. So we didn't interview.
So looking on to back in GT3, and that is the track speed Porsche of Jody Furthermore and Hughes under pressure from the United Autosports Audi of Patterson and Bell, and the United Autosports car, of course, won the Donington round last year, the final round of the championship. And it was so close yet so far. A thrilling final round, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see another one that's equally exciting, because this season's already shaped up to be spectacular. Up the inside it goes, the road gets cut off. Some very abrasive defending there from the Trek Speed Porsche, as one of the cones makes its way swiftly across the circuit. But that Audi is looking very racy now behind Jody Firth's Porsche, the number 12, the black and orange car trying to defend, and there is the number 30 Ferrari. Now, that car belongs to Duvia. Now, that is his debut here today, or return to the British GT. And unfortunately, 16 is going to drop a bit of momentum, we think. But alongside again, that Audi is looking extremely powerful right now. And Jody Firth is having his work cut out for him to keep him at bay. Yeah,
the Audi's looking very, very punchy as well, giving that Porsche a good run for its money as well, as they power into this very, very fast entry. You know, it's pretty much flat out into there, a little dab on the brakes, and then they power through. And then this is a really important corner, the second part of the Maggots and Beckett's complex, to get a really good run on the straight. Then you can sort of out-drag and get towed along from the car in front of you, and then hopefully do a move down at the Stowe corner where we're approaching now. Lights ablaze on these cars as well. Drivers have got their lights on already, just to keep hassling the driver in front, to put them under pressure, to hope they make a mistake. And also they're going to be catching slower cars soon as well, so they've just put their lights on now, so they're done then for the rest of the race. One thing less to think about from a driver's point of view. It's very, very busy in that cockpit.
And however, there's a lot to think about for Marco Attard in that blue and black, that gorgeous BMW Z4 that's heading the train at the moment for third position. He's got Phil Driver in the number 6 Aston Martin behind, Jody Firth in the black Porsche, and then the United Autosports Audi. So while Samuel Hardy has got his skates on and taken the chunk of lead out of Andrew Howard to just 2.5 seconds, it looks to me like it's going to be a very, very interesting battle, because Al Hardy now is gaining on Howard. Attard, however, is slipping back, so his skates have come off and he's got to be careful. So back underway with GT4, as you can see, it's all starting to get pretty intense back there already. There's the Ultimum car, the number 41, the lime green colour, trying to hold on for dear life there. It's been attacked from all angles. You've got Ollie Basie-Fisher, the black Ginetta on the inside, trying to attack. The number 43 in front belongs to Alex Sherpin, who's had a very good race so far, a very good season. And Charlie, the season really has developed so far, and especially the GT4 class, as through goes that number 41 car of Ryan Ratcliffe, defending 2013 champion, come back today. But Charlie, this GT4 class has really developed over the last 5 years.
Yeah, it used to be just Ginettas. Now we've got Porsches, we've got Lotuses in there, we've got a real mix of vehicles now, and you can see how evenly matched. You know, it's a really good job from SRO, the organisers of the British GT Championship, and we got the spinner there. We were just talking about that green car, weren't we? Bit of a mistake there, can't quite see what corner it is, but a bit of a flame out the back as they restart the vehicle. That's coming into the new complex here on the infield at the Silverstone complex. So a bit of a spin there, driver error, and no damage done to the car. But yeah, the GT4 battle, look how close it is. You know, all of these cars, there's nearly a different make of car in this train of vehicles. Brilliant stuff further down the field.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the replay of what just transpired a few moments ago. Then there is that Porsche we were just talking about, making its debut today, and just lost the back end, it seemed, and completely pirouettes it round, so very stylish indeed. But on the way through Abbey and Farm, it was very scary, looking head onto the traffic. Now that is like you're in some sort of bad simulator game. Oh, and that looks to me, the number 77's had a bit of a moment of Oz Yusuf. The Lotus Evora has had a bit of a tug there, and hopefully he can get himself back underway. It hasn't stalled the car, and then that Porsche's off again, so not sure if it really is dancing on ice there, but Silverstone's looking fairly dry, but that Porsche's got no grip at all, and the Evora slips down the order.
Just trying too hard, really, isn't he? Just trying too hard. So we can see here we've got the Lotus on the inside, does the move, squeezes out the Ginetta, but the Ginetta goes, well, hang on a minute, come on, I need a bit of room. That was completely the number 77, the blue and white car of the Lotus Evora. Evora there, basically just giving him no room at all, really, so the Ginetta had nowhere to go. So a bit of a racing incident, but they need to give each other a bit more space. And remember, this is a 3-hour endurance race. You just wouldn't think of it, would you, watching the screen now?
It's almost like we're watching some Volkswagen Golf racing or something, isn't it? As that Optimum of Ryan Ratcliffe looks to really hassle down one of the cars in front of him. Up the inside he goes, and the defending champion proving his worth as he overtakes Adrian Barwick in a Twisted Team Parker car. And what's really going to interest me, Charlie, is that Ryan Ratcliffe and Rick Parfitt Jr. were teammates last year, the championship winning pair. Now they're on opposing teams, and they have to let, well, very carefully, that McLaren through the recovering United Autosports car. So that's not full position. But Ratcliffe and Parfitt were teammates last last year, they're now rivals, so they get to race each other head on, and Ratcliffe gets to see how his fellow AM driver has developed over the past couple of years.
Yeah, they know all of their secrets, they know all their little techniques, because they've looked at each other's data over the last few years. As we've got another change in position there, or nearly a change in position there, a little bit further back, Porsche versus Ginetta, as they go through the Abbey corner, which is a very fast corner where we saw the Porsche, the green Porsche spinning there. It's a very, very fast corner. That would have been quite a scary spin for the green Porsche. So yeah, they know all the tricks of the trade and they're battling it out, but they're keeping it quite clean. They seem like two very sensible guys, but you know, it's a long race, so hopefully they can keep it clean and not be too stupid.
Yeah, these two cars at the moment, the 43 and the 54, the white car belonging to Alex Sherpen, really attacking that 55 of Ollie Basie-Fisher, and down he goes. I'm going to be careful because that Porsche, Barry Baxter's on the outside. Very difficult corner to overtake as the apex tightens up so quickly, and it's all going to be a case of who's bravest on the brakes. Basie-Fisher was, but he runs out of tarmac and has to surrender the position. So very nice manoeuvre there by the number 43 machine of Alexander Sherpen, and now he sets his sights on Barry Baxter's Porsche.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't do the cutback there, but again, at the same time, you know, he is. These two are quite evenly matched, but that was a really good move down into the Brooklands left-hander there before they went through Luffield. But these guys are going to be swapping places, I'm sure, thousands more times over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, they definitely will be, there's no doubt about that. And of course, thrown to the mix, you've got pit stops as well. 3 mandatory pit stops for each car. We're going to see some intriguing tactics at work, I think, today from all classes, not just GT3, but right here in the heart of GT4 as well, as Ollie Basie-Fisher looks to try and get that black Ginetta sailing back through, but he's got to play this very cautiously. He knows he's got the hanger straight coming up, the longest straight on the circuit. As we wait and see as they get very close together. Let's see what Ollie Basie-Fisher can do then. He's in the draft at the moment. Can he open up for an overtaking manoeuvre, or will there be a slight bit of tic-tacs there? Because at the moment you've got Barry Baxter trying to hold up in front. If you can hold that line, you may even just see Alex Sherpen use him as a draft, but he can't. Then Basie-Fisher opens to the inside of Stowe, and that should be a nice easy manoeuvre. And that is number one. So Andrew Howard's he's tripped over a back marker from what we're hearing. So Andrew Howard has had a big moment there, and Ahmed Al-Hardy now in the lead of the race. So the Oman Racing number 4 car in the lead, and that, Charlie, is the trouble with British GT and what makes the series so unique. The GT4 cars around a circuit like this can be such a tricky obstacle. Yeah,
considering it's a 3.7 mile circuit, it's a long circuit. They're already catching the leaders and the back markers already. Let's see if we can see a replay very shortly. Okay, here we go. So BMW M3, he goes one side through the Maggots-Beckett's complex, then he goes the other side, then goes a little bit sideways. The BMW hasn't seen him. He's then gone on the grass. He's then now got muck and grit and dirt all on his tyres, and then there's a change in the lead. When they were both flashing their lights to the BMW saying, quick, get out my way. Look at that, frantically flashing the lights. Marshall's waving the blue flags, which means that there's a faster car coming up behind you.
So Hardy was trying to go up the inside there of some of the lap traffic, and back to the GT4 battle once again. Still Barry Baxter holding on from Sherpen at the moment, so he seems to have appeared to lost Ollie Basie-Fisher, who's now found himself in front. So during all the course of that chaos, Ollie Basie-Fisher has sneakily made his way through and finds himself now trying to attack Barry. But here is the leader trying to make his way through that traffic at the moment. We'll be approaching that battle very shortly. Ahmed Al-Hardy looking strong. Okay, so we're coming into Brooklands now. Got paddles on the steering wheel through Luffield. Luffield's a really tricky corner, trying to keep the car balanced, trying to be patient on the power, getting a really good run on the outside. We've got this green Porsche that we've seen spinning twice now. Great onboard footage here. So round the outside of Woodcote, passing the pit straight. Already you can just see the Porsche there at the back of John Minshaw trying to go up the inside of Liam Griffin, to no avail. As we say, the corner tightens up ridiculously fast and it's very difficult to make a move stick through there at the moment. But Sir Chris Hoyer's got a bit of a train starting to form behind him now, so GT3 looking exceedingly close, but yellow flag's still out, which means they won't be able to pass. So all of that work which these drivers are doing to catch Sir Chris Hoy could be undone. Yeah, so the car that had the drive-through penalty was actually the BMW that we saw the Aston Martin, the lead vehicle, getting tripping over the BMW from earlier. So he's the team have obviously seen it on the television screens that we're watching and that you're watching now at home, and they would have then gone to the clerk of the course and said, look, come on, he needs a penalty of some sort because he's cost us a place there and maybe some damage to the underneath of the car possibly. Yeah, definitely, but the Lotus Evora in the pit, so that's all Yusuf's finally recovered. It's been a very weak opening stint for him, unfortunately. The only Lotus in the GT4 field, and you're witnessing currently on screen a battle for 7th. It's a Nissan GT driven by Sir Chris Hoy, passing Lathuras, the young 20-year-old behind, then Liam Griffin in that red and white Aston, the only Porsche in that battle, followed of John Minshaw, and then the race winning from last weekend Ferrari of Gary Eastwood. So very tight battle, some big names and big cars in there, all different manufacturers. Now this is what British GT is about, and the safety car is out.
Yeah, safety car's out, presumably because of that Aston Martin and that Lotus problem that we saw. The Lotus is now in the pits because of that. Yellow flags are being waved. The safety car is out. So that's back to our leader again. So we're going to see safety cars getting ready. Lights are on, so it's going to wait for the leader, collect the leader as it leaves the pit lane, and then we're going to get them all bunched up again, which is great for us, great for the viewers as well here at Silverstone on this sunny day. That's going to give us another restart again. So great stuff, but you know, no one likes to see the safety car, but at the same time it does bring the race back together again.
Now the question is, obviously safety car conditions, will these drivers make a pit? Yes, they will. So there goes Ahmed Al Harvey. Wait and see if this is a driver change or no. All we know, we have to make of course 3 pit stops, so they have a timer on their pit stop, so why not waste some time behind the safety car, get back out and just get some work done on the car as well. So Al Harvey into the pit lane, hits his mark beautifully, and now let's see how many other cars follow in Ahmed Al Harvey's footsteps to try and take advantage.
Okay, so you can see the pit lights there. You have to turn the car off. He was undoing the seat belts on the way into the pits as well, just speeding that process up. Different size of drivers as well. We'll see that a little bit later with the Bentley with Stephen Kane and his teammate. Stephen Kane isn't the tallest driver in the world, and his teammate's about 6 foot, so there's a lot of padding needed for that. Drivers are waiting at the moment while the car is refueling. You cannot get into the car. The door has to be shut. A little bit of advice there going on, saying maybe the brake pedal's a bit spongy or there's something that's happening with the car. So a little bit of a chat here between the 2 drivers, bit of tactics. As soon as the fuel is then gone in, Michael will then run into the car and get as quickly in as possible via the seat belts that are all elasticated.
And a lot of the GT3...
Sorry, no, you go.
A lot of the GT3 cars are in. Andy Howard still not, but one noticeable one is the United Autosports car. Now, we've got to be quite careful as well, because obviously at Rockingham there was an incident with the red light at the end of the pit lane, which saw one of the drivers pick up a penalty, and indeed that really did dampen the race. So fingers crossed the drivers pay a little more attention today. It was a very close call, but we'll have to wait and see as Michael Caine gets strapped in for his first stint.
So the cars are on air jacks, seatbelts have been done, and in GT driving, when I used to race at Marcos back in like 2000, 2001, you're still doing the seatbelts up as you're leaving the pits because you want to do the quickest change all the time. So fueling's obviously important for these cars, so the fuel's getting pumped in as quickly as possible, and also the mandatory pit stops as well, and they'll be timing the pit stops as well, so it must be timed, so they can't leave too early or can't leave too late. So it's a real crucial time, the pit stop area, and that's when the mechanics come into their own, and that's when the team all brings together.
So you can just see the safety car has picked up Andy Howard. Now you've got to think this is very tactical, because Andy Howard stayed out, he's going to have the lead. Let's see if he can retain it when a safety car comes in. So back in the pit lane there is the number 17 Bentley of Remberg, the only Bentley on the field today, and now a race-winning Bentley also. Let's just see if it can maybe repeat some of that success here today. But as we said, interestingly enough, it was Michael Caine that came in. Andrew Howard tried to stay out a bit to maybe gain an advantage, but we'll see how dividend that is a bit later on. So you do have to wait, of course, for 130 seconds in the pit lane. It's a long time for these drivers to wait. Oh, and he stalled it, so not good news there for M Sport. So Bentley's weekend goes from bad to worse. They've dropped the Generation Bentley car, as we explained earlier in the programme with Henry. So now down to 1 Bentley, and a bit of a stall there as well. Luckily, he shouldn't lose too much time, as they're behind that Nissan Juke safety car.
So what you're also going to get now as well is, because of the safety car, all the calculations and the perfect mathematics that have been going on with the fuel strategies has now gone out the window, and they're now having to reschedule all of that, especially with the Aston and the Bentley and stuff. So we're going to have a little bit of a issue there with our fueling.
So we've got now an interview with Ahmed Al Hardy, and Henry's found him.
Ahmed, good first stint there, some excellent battling as well. You pleased with how that went?
Yeah, from P4 on the grid, and then I managed to pass to second, and then I think Andrew made a mistake, and I capitalized on that, and his pace was really strong, so we were like actually pulling each other along. Again, as always, safety car. Hopefully it doesn't mess us up this time, but I think it was good. So it's a long race, to be honest, and we know we have to go back into the car for more hard work.
You alluded to it just then, but traffic is a bit of a problem today at the moment, isn't it?
I think a bit of a problem is an understatement. Honestly, they have to look into it because it's really ridiculous where cars can clearly see us but just block us for position. And that's really from a safety, because we are carrying so much more speed than the GT4s. And I was on the radio, but in the end of the day, this is what it's about, and we have to be careful.
What was the car now? How is the car handling generally?
Good. Just pleased with it, to be honest, and no complaints. Michael has to do what he does best.
Okay, well done. See you later. Bye now.
So back to the race then, and it's Alex Buncombe now that's going to be sitting in the car for his first into the afternoon. So Chris Hoy leaps out, and hopefully we get a few words with him in a moment. But Alex Buncombe, who's really proved his worth over these past few months in that Nissan. Of course, a memorable race at Blancpain at Monza, where he overtook a good half of the field in just the first lap alone. And we're just waiting for it to leave now. Oh, very close call as the United Autosports Audi makes a very stylish entrance into the pit lane. But it's an extremely busy pit lane, Charlie. We've got so many cars trying to make in. They've all got the same idea. And you're obviously going to get a few hiccups like that.
Yeah, safety is paramount, you know. There's lots of activity going on. Fuel, changing drivers, cars coming in, cars coming out, tyres being changed, cars being jacked up. It's a really, really busy atmosphere there, and that does bring GT driving to life, as you can see there. Still doing his seatbelts up on the left-hand side, taking both hands off the wheel to make sure it's properly tightened. And then you've got the Audi in front of him.
So we believe we've just found Sir Chris Hoy after his first stint. He's with Henry.
So Chris, a solid first stint, up in the top 10. You must be really pleased with that.
Yeah, it was very exciting the first couple of laps, managed to gain a few places. But it was really just about trying to settle into a rhythm and being aware that if I start pushing it too hard, the tyres are going to go off. So being patient, I think, because I was a bit exuberant at Rockingham, trying to get on the gas too soon out the corner. So today on the slow stuff, just being patient and then using the aero on the fast corners. But yeah, I think we were 7th or 8th or something when we came in there. So yeah, it's a good start. It's still a long way to go, obviously, but yeah, great start.
You were actually up in the top 5, and Mark Patterson just came over and congratulated you on some great battling. It must be very busy with the traffic, hasn't it?
It is, and I think everyone in the back of their mind are thinking about the length of the race and not trying to do anything too stupid. And certainly I had Bob, team director, in my ear before the start saying, just take it steady. If you lose a few places, it's fine. And Al, co-driver, saying, go for it, up the inside, go for the passes. So you can tell the difference between the team manager and the driver there.
But this is going to be the longest race of your career. How are you going to cope with it?
Well, I think it's just the same again. I don't know how long that was. I think that was maybe a little bit short of the planned stint with the safety car being out. But it's not physically exhausting, it's the heat and it's the concentration that's tiring. Because you realise that one split-second mistake and the whole thing is thrown away. So it's about just not thinking too far ahead, just focusing on the next braking point, the next corner, and obviously defending from behind, because I had quite a few cars queuing up behind me at one point there. So it's also picking your way through the GT4 field when you're lapping them. But it's been, yeah, great so far, but we'll keep our heads down and press on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Okay, so back under green flag conditions here at Silverstone for the Silverstone 500, the 3-hour British GT event, which has been surreal so far. But now let's see what Alex Buncombe can do there. But that is the number 21 car, and a driver change that could very well bring Tom Onslow Cole into the mix. Liam Jenkins and Charlie Butler.
I get confused as well.
Butler Henderson in the commentary box, and Jody First trying to defend against a very, very aggressive number 21. Strata 21, Aston up the inside. They changed from Nissan early in the season. Was this the right call? We're about to find out, because that Porsche's under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that Strata 21 car is really, really on a mission, darting from left to right behind the Porsche, getting a really big power slide on the exit there as it now approaches the Wellington Straight. This is where they're topping in 6th gear, doing just under 150 miles an hour down here. The fastest part is actually Hangar Straight. Green flags are being waved, telling the drivers that the circuit is clear ahead. And the move's been done nice and neatly on the way down into Brooklands.
So through goes Tom Onslow Cole, the touring car racers, trying his outfit here in British GT, and it's done pretty well. So we believe he's just unlapped himself, if our timing screens are correct. We'll definitely confirm that as they all go through. But obviously the field's still a little bit wishy-washy at the moment after the safety car conditions. It will take a while for them to settle down again. Been a very uncomfortable couple of moments for them, but it is now Jody Furr that provisionally leads in front of Lee Mole. And he's yet to pit though, Jody Furr. So that track speed Porsche has been the only car in the GT3 cars to not make a pit stop. Do you think that was a good call?
Well, you know, it's like I said, as the guys have been interviewed, it's a long, long race. Anything can happen still. So here we are now on board. Michael Caine. So flat out into Beckett's Maggots complex. Just taking loads of time out of the competitors ahead. As you can see them really, really quickly catching the BMW up in front of him. Now we're approaching onto Hangar Straight now, using the paddles to change gear as they go under the bridge.
And there is the United Autosports McLaren back here at Silverstone trying to make up for lost time. Bit of contact earlier on with the Lotus, number 77 in the GT4 class. It lost the rear wing, it's good at reattach, and a change for second place there as through goes Michael Caine, and that's overtaken the 888 BMW of Lee Mole, the first of two with the orange headlights. You can see the most noticeable with the wing mirrors, but he's now the lead car that hasn't pitted, or that has pitted I should say, because Jody Firth is the only one to not pit in that class so far. So after all that, it's going to be looking like at the moment Michael Caine's got himself a nice easy breeze now. He's got clear all the other GT3 traffic for now. Got some GT4 to contend with, but that BMW Z4 just behind of Lee Mole will be looking to get some retribution after rocking him as well. We'll see how that fares, and a big cloud of dust, and off goes the FF Corsa of Rob Barth now after their driver change. So Barth is off into the grass, and a complete pirouette there, and some other cars involved as well.
That's the 45 car that got the drive-through penalty for not using his mirrors, but also that's quite a few cars off there. Maybe oil, possibly, but I think it might just be a backmarker issue. And there we've got Rob Barth there with another with accident damage to the left rear. So very, very similar to the red Aston Martin we saw earlier, clipping the Lotus. So it's a very, very similar incident. But if that's a backmarker issue, he's going to try and limp it back to the pits. Here we go. Here's a replay. So BMW being lapped. Ferrari, Bentley. Here we go, goes around the outside and literally just clips the BMW. I think that seems like a bit of an action replay from what happened at Oulton Park in the first race where he clipped the barrier. So a little bit of an incident there from Rob Barth, which is such a shame. There's such a different pace with these cars and back markers, but that looks like that's the 45 car out, so that's one back marker out of the way, and that no one needs to deal with anymore because he's definitely been in the wars, that guy there.
Yeah, it just looks to me like he didn't see the Ferrari on the outside. Very narrow apex, that corner indeed, and the Ferrari just maybe trying to sneak around and make, you know, most of the time he's got very hastily trying to push his way and get his own race back through, and just by that the BMW wasn't fully aware. Contact ensued, and unfortunately for the number 45, that could very well be race over for him. I can't see that car rejoining the circuit anytime soon, but there is Alex Buncombe, who's under a lot of pressure now from the 888 car of Luke Hines as he goes up the inside. He's doing everything he can in his power to make it stick. He's done so, and he'll be joined very shortly as well by the Aston Martin as well. But now Alex Buncombe tries to go up the inside. He's got an absolute powerful run down the straight, isn't he? They said all week long that Nissan can really stretch its legs here at Silverstone, and you can see what they meant. He's given that BMW a really big run for money. They're three abreast, there's yellow flags in front, so all three of them trying to scuffle for position. We've got Greedy up in P5 as well, making his return to the series, but Alex Buncombe held on bravely through there, it's got to be said. He played that very, very conservatively, kept his cool, didn't yield to pressure, and in turn kept the position.
Yeah, they're all very, very sensible with the yellow flags there. We can see the JCB in the distance there, just dragging that BMW off into safety. But yeah, really, really nice clean move there. What a load of grunt that Nissan's got. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, it really has been exciting to watch so far. That Nissan under the hands of Chris Hoyt and now under the pro driver of Alex Buncombe. We'll see what he can do as the race pursues.
got to get into a rhythm. Once you've done your driver change, it will take you literally a couple of corners to get settled into the car and sort of suss out who you're racing against and how the car feels, because obviously you've just changed drivers, so you're new to it. You know, a car can pick up the odd gremlin throughout the race, so it's just trying to get yourself into the mix of it. You can got blue flags lapped, cars being lapped. It's that green Porsche. I think we're going to see a little bit more action from that throughout the day. So you've got GT4 battle. We've got literally a Ginetta, Aston Martin and Ferrari. That was a very expensive squeeze on that bit of circuit. That was a very expensive car park just for that moment. So great stuff. I don't think the Ginetta actually knew what had hit him then. It was just like whoom, straight round the outside. Brilliant bit of manoeuvring and great bit of driving from the Ginetta.
So here is our leader currently. That is Jody Firth. He may be looking to try and pit in a bit late, and indeed he does. So he may have actually lost a bit of time. There's his co-driver waiting. So Warren Hughes eagerly waiting to get into that Porsche. So which means now that as Jody Firth pulls in, he's going to surrender the lead now to Michael Caine. So Caine back into the lead. He was leading before in the cars that have pitted and now resumes the overall race lead. So Jody Firth did lead for a bit. Where's he going to come out? This is going to be key because, you know, pitting under the safety car, you can afford to waste a bit of time. You don't lose that much. But now all the cars are at full speed again, this can go one of two ways.
Yeah, this can go one of two ways. So fuel going in there, nice and safe. So very, very busy pit lane here.
So there is your new race leader, Michael Caine, in the number 4 Oman Racing team, the duo that won the opening round of the season here at Alton Park. As Warren Hughes makes his way back into that Porsche once again, and that'll be his first into the day. The track speed car has had variations of the word luck over this season so far. He took a bit of a hit earlier on at Alton Park. I think that's the second race, but we'll see what they're capable of today. The number 12 is definitely a car to look out for. It's proven it's got the pace before. Let's just wait and see. As Jake Giddings also in the pits there, we see. So the number 407, that is the GT4 class leader in the pits at this stage. So hopefully that gets out very soon. Hopefully not a problem either for the leading Beach Gene. And that may just be a driver change for Ross Wiley to enter the car as well. So the Scotsman of Ross Wiley will be back in the car very shortly to see what he can bring to the GT4 class. So coming from the lead, that will resume the lead back to Rick Parfitt Jr. I'm sure he'll be rocking all over Silverstone, that's for sure, as he'll be back at the front and hopefully safe on, no bad luck.
I like it, good little gag there, I like it, rocking all over Silverstone, great. So on board now with Mr. Buncombe in the Nissan, car number 80. So going down Hanger Straight, doing literally topping out 150, 155. Braking, so you can see him braking with his right foot, down on the paddles on the steering wheel, fighting the car, literally absolutely fighting it through the bumps, over the bumps, kissing the curves on the left-hand side as we exit Stowe. Now coming into Vale, which is at 90, well, greater than 90 degrees, a really, really sharp left-hander. Back on the power, see the Bentley behind clouting the curb there. You can see, you know, that Bentley, even though it's the road car, Stephen Caine at the wheel, even though it's 2.7 tonnes as a road car, it's been decreased now. It's only 1,300 kilos, so it looks a big beast, but it is actually extremely lightweight. So a lot of development being done on that Bentley. Great bit of driving, and let's see how Stephen Caine can manoeuvre that beast. There you go, straight up the inside of Buncombe. Easy move. Job done, sorted, didn't take long at all.
Buncombe knows he can get the drive back though, doesn't he? He's trying to get himself round the outside, cut back underneath again. Now these are the two cars that we've said all weekend long, Charlie, that they can really stretch their legs here at Silverstone. They're more suited to the European circuits like Monza, like Spa, that's where they've both succeeded. But Bentley's been strong at Silverstone, and again, another circuit where Nissan succeeds as well, and now the two are fighting one another, and Alex Buncombe really fighting that Nissan.
Yeah, he looks so relaxed, he nearly took both his hands off the steering wheel as he went down the straight, so looking very, very relaxed there. Through Luffield, nice and tight on the inside as we chase the Bentley up the straight.
So the Bentley still leading, but as we just said a moment ago, Dan Kamishi, current Formula 4 champion, now gets his turn of the wheel of the number 44 Porsche in GT4. We say second in class behind Bradley Ellis, the number 46 at the moment, the bright green and grey Ginetta. You won't miss that one, but there is a beautiful car you can't miss, the BMW Z4, which is looking extremely pacey right now. Fourth position, Alexander Sims, trying to chase down Phil Keen's track speed Porsche, and that Porsche is looking like it's a bit vulnerable, isn't it? It's like watching a wild lion attack a deer or something. The Porsche not looking too defensive.
Yeah, Sims has also pretty much been a second a lap quicker, and Phil Keane is a very, very quick lap, and we've got Johnny Adam here chasing as well, lights ablaze on the Aston Martin, the championship winning car from last year. You know, so these three, they're all going to get tripped up, and like I said, Phil Keane is a very, very quick driver, but just hasn't quite got the pace in that Porsche here this weekend. So that Z4 isn't going to be long before he does the pass.
Alex Sims has made his venture into British GT successful, and is it going to be more successful? Maybe not just yet, but he's got the insiders that'll make their way onto the Wellington straight, and Phil Keane's played that very nicely, knowing if he sweeps it around the outside he'll get a better drive, but now unfortunately we'll have to surrender a slipstream to the Akira Cost car, and we'll see exactly what now Alexander Sims has got, and that was the effect it had. Phil Keane able to brake much later into the corner and retain that position for just a moment or two longer.
Yeah, that Z4 just looks so much more nimble than the Porsche. You know, the Porsche just looks quite clumsy around the corners, even though it's a great handling car. It just doesn't seem to be handling quite as well as the Z4, and it's been pretty much dominant in GTs over the last few years anyway, the Porsche. But now there's new cars coming in and new developments happening. It's sort of knocking them off the top spot a bit, really.
And you take a look at the variety at the top end. In terms of the team standings, it's BMW from Aston Martin, from Ferrari. So a complete variation at the moment. And talking of Aston Martin, Johnny Adam, who's chasing the battle you're witnessing on screen at the moment. There's almost half the gap in that last lap. He really is flying, and he's about to see why he was so close to a championship, but let's see what he can do. There's a bit of traffic in front. Now, we've already seen already what GT4 traffic can do, and oh, it's a familiar face in the front of GT4, the 45 BMW.
It's that white BMW again. So yeah, he's getting a bit of a name for himself, bless him, but still enjoying himself out there, working just as hard as all the other guys. You know, he's got different levels of experience out there, but at the same time, you know, I'm sure he will be using his mirrors now, and the team would have spoken to him as well from his ticking off that he'd have got from the investigation that he's under at the moment.
As you can see, the battle for third that's still very much alive, and it could become a battle for fourth just a bit more, because Johnny Adam is going to get right in the thick of this one and try and somehow overtake Alexander Sims, and that's not going to particularly sit well, is it, with the Akira Cost team, because they've been the one doing the hunting all afternoon, and out of nowhere this storming Aston Martin is going to try and put a move on them.
Yeah, storming Aston Martin. Yeah, Johnny Adam. He's really taking chunks out of the time of these two. Phil Keane slightly holding up Sims at the moment. We've got a message along the. Yeah, he's gone. There we go. The move's been done. So he tried that last lap, but Phil's going to do the cutback on the inside now, and he's going to make it stick as well, because he is on the inside line, and that Porsche has got quite good pace. And just at the wrong time, the back marker's just on the exit there. So Phil Keane had to come out wide, and Johnny Adam is going to benefit from all of this. So thank you very much. Johnny Adam will be praising the BMW that's just been lapped there, because he now has literally taken a bigger chunk out of the gap that he was trying to gain.
Yeah, change that Scooby-Doo to Scrappy-Doo. There'll be a cheeky laugh inside that Aston Martin after seeing that one, as it sets its sights on the back of Alex Sims' BMW. Things are going to get very fiery very shortly in the GT3 class. Same can be said for GT4, but all focus is on this in very, very intense battle right now. And one thing you've got to pick up on as well is just how crucial this could be for the championship, because it's not just points they're playing for, it's points and a half.
Yeah, very, very important, you know, and I just love the fact that GT racing brings this level. It's a 3-hour sprint basically, isn't it? No endurance at all. It really is a long slog. More back markers now. We've got the Lotus that we might have seen. Did we see that Lotus earlier on in a little incident?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So that's been into the pits, that's checked, that actually got off lighter than the Aston Martin. You know, the Aston Martin just hit it exactly in the wrong place for the rear axle here, and you got the pass being done. Johnny Adam, is he going to get in the toe of Sims? Yes, he is. Is he going to duck in the inside? That Porsche's got a lot of pace down the straight, you know. They're really struggling to pass it down the end.
I think that's being sort of Phil Keane's saving grace, is that on the straightaway it's just being able to run away, but as soon as they get back into the inner to the circuit, it falls victim to moves like this, as inside goes Alexander Sims, very close for comfort. Get any closer, there may be a bit of paint swapping going between them. But there we go, now the inside as well goes Johnny Adams, so through he goes. So 2 positions in 1 corner, and unfortunately for Phil Keane, all the hard work's been undone. But now we get to see a true battle, 1st and 2nd in the championship respectively. And now they're 1st and 2nd for this battle, over 3rd place on track. It's the Akira Cost BMW, the black and blue, staying in front of the Beach Gene Aston Martin, being driven by Johnny Adam. And Bradley Ellis has just been in the pit lane at the moment. That will be a driver change, so the leading GT4 class car at the moment in the pit lane, and that is his 2nd venture in, and now it does on screen. So the twisted Team Parker car is just getting a little bit of work there, as a bit of help from the teammates is always nice in this situation, as Adrian Barwick gives Bradley Ellis a hand.
Yeah. Bradley Ellis does, when he's not racing, works as an instructor most of the time, and also drives the doctor's car as well at the British Touring Car races as well. So sits in a Porsche Cayenne, just sort of chilling out, driving the doctors round and waiting to pick up the pieces at the BTCC races. So he's putting it into gear. He's waiting for his pit crew before he can go. So patiently getting the revs up, bit of wheel spin there, saving the tyres, and away they go to then continue their pounding around here at Silverstone on this nice sunny hot day.
And I've noticed as well that we've sort of dropped the United Autosport Audi. Now, we've noticed the McLaren took a bit of a hit earlier on, the rear wing come off, but Matt Bell has been, well, he's 30 laps off, so I'm assuming he's still in the pit lane right now, but they've been in twice. The United Autosport seemingly dropped from the order, so the Audi not sitting too well, and that's a real shame because they were looking fairly strong here coming into Silverstone. They had a good starting position, started from 8th on the grid, and unfortunately it's not looking like it's going to end that well.
No, that's a bit of a shame really, because that car always is putting always on a pretty good show. There's Bradley Ellis, you can see, has just come out the pits that we saw a close-up of, and the other cars overtaking him because they're faster.
So back with this battle, and there you can see just navigating its way through traffic is the Bentley, and It's proved to be quite difficult, which is very why the GT4s have to go a little further offline than they normally would, but still hasn't proved to be too much of an issue just yet. That M Sport Bentley looking to continue the success of Bentley last weekend. It's been a very thrilling 2 weeks for Bentley, hasn't it? They got a win at Blancpain last weekend. They're now here at Silverstone, a very strong run so far, and it's looking good because it's been great to see. It's developed over the last couple of races, but now it's finally looking like this Bentley could fight for a podium. So we were just taking a look at the battle for 5th and 6th, and we said earlier that the battle for 2nd and 3rd was about to increase, and there it is. So we said Lee Mole was slow. He was slow again last lap at 2:11. Alex Sims did a 2:06, so you can do the math. It was almost 5 seconds quicker again, so 10 seconds in 2 laps. Now, albeit that's not pure Kyrgios pace, but it is definitely BMW versus BMW, the black and blue BMW taking on the orange and black. So a bit of GT4 traffic in front as well, and Lee Mole will be very much aware of the car that's directly behind him as that GT4 just snuck across the nose of Alex Sims's black and blue BMW. Through they go, and now this should be a relatively easy manoeuvre. I don't think Lee Mole's going to put up that much of an issue. There may even be a problem for the AAA car. That's 2 laps in a row where it's been 2:11, 2:12, so we'll see what it's like this time round, but I don't think he's going to put up much of a fight.
There should be two very, very evenly matched cars. They're both the same, so no, not put up a fight at all there. He's literally just gone and done the move there. I'm still chuckling a little bit actually from when that's now up to 4th that now. And then we've got the GT4 battle as well going a little bit further back. But when Stephen Kane earlier past the Ginetta into Brooklands, which is the corner which is the cameras are picking up there, the Ginetta had a little bit of a cutback and actually tried to overtake the Bentley again. So I was still chuckling from that, seeing a cheeky little Ginetta next to the big powerful Bentley.
And it's like something you see on the internet, is it? Just a little size comparison photo, and it really is a beast of a car, and if you can hear it in person as well, it's absolutely marvellous. But back to GT4, and we're going to see now the battle forming, because there you can just see Ross Wiley under a lot of pressure from Devon Modell, the number 49 Aston. So the plain white Aston trying to attack Ross Wiley's Beach Gina, 2nd and 3rd respectively, but also 1st and 2nd in the championship. So a lot rests on this fight. Devon Modell will be very intrigued to try and push his way through. But 2nd and 3rd in GT4 about to be passed by 2nd and 3rd in the race as Alex Sims's BMW looks to just overtake them very cleanly. Both Aston Martin drivers will be very much aware of Alex's presence, and Modell will surely move offline quicker than most. Off he goes, and yeah, they've caught him luckily for Alex Sims at a very, very nice part of the circuit. There's not too much twist, it's not going to be a tight apex. Nice open road to get the car down, and it's now allowed, of course, Ross Wiley to pick up a cheeky slipstream off the BMW.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that, yeah. So the Aston Martin tucked in behind the BMW just to see if he can get a little bit pulled along a little bit more as the Aston Martin there was punching through the air. So you can see there another overtaking manoeuvre on the way into Vale. So this is going to be quite a busy part of the lap now for the 2 teammates now. So is he going to let the teammate through? 3rd in the race and 3rd for GT4. And then there you go, nice and easy, clean move as well. Maybe a little wave as well to the teammate just to say, how you doing? Hope you're having fun out there as well. So yeah, keep up the good work. Brilliant stuff, this.
That was almost like a big brother, little brother, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The little baby Aston Martin next to its big GT3 contender. But now come the rest of the GT3 field, and this battle still very much alive. So the Bentley Porsche top trump match is still not over yet. I think they're both still choosing which option to go for on the card. But right now, that's for 4th, 5th and 6th. There goes to BMW 4th, and that's still Lee Mole. With it, he must have an issue because he slipped very, very quickly away from Alex Sims and now into the clutches of Phil Keane.
And that was Keane as well, sorry, Stephen Kane, getting really, really sideways then on the back end of the Bentley as the Bentley then put the power down. And because of the mix of drivers now, we've got professionals, we've got back markers, we've got 2 different sort of categories going on here. Phil Keane very, very close to nearly hitting the back marker a little bit further back that we saw earlier in the lap, but now this is giving Stephen Kane a great chance, and one into the pits. Lee Mole into the pits now.
Yeah, Lee Mole from 3rd position in class is now going to sink further down the order. That may very well be a driver changer to Joe Osborne, and now goes to Bentley up the inside. Very difficult place to pass, and Keane fighting for every bit of time like that nimble little Porsche can grab, but it's not enough in the end, and the Bentley slides through. So the Bentley won another battle. The Porsche has not won a top trump battle all afternoon.
No.
We'll see where the Bentley can move on from here, though, because now we get to see a reflection of its true pace in clean air.
Yeah, that was a lovely move, very, very clean. They got nice and close, they gave each other a bit of room, but Caney in the Bentley literally just ducked out from the slipstream of the Porsche and literally just stuck it at the inside, and it was a really nice, great move there, as we're seeing a really good graphic there of the picture there of the brakes smoking. So very, very hot brakes. Remember, heat soak happens when the pit change and the driver change happens. So fuel going in, and then the driver change will happen after that, as we've got onlookers, other team members, even filming the pit crew as well. So this is when these guys really come into their own and get stuck in on the pit stops.
And talking of coming into your own, what about this? Michael Caine now 54.9 seconds in front of his nearest competitor of Alexander Sims. Alex Sims is not lapping slow by any stretch of the imagination, but Michael Caine is absolutely flying out there. So the Oman Racing team, we heard from Al Hardy earlier on, saying that traffic was a big issue. Michael Caine, though, seeming to cut through it like a knife through butter.
Yep, so on board now with Caney as we're going through some of the complex, through the Beckett's complex, before we then open it up and hear that Aston Martin really power out down the long, long hangar straight. Looks very, very relaxed there, but I tell you what, there's beads of sweat pouring down from his eyes, and he's even having a little look around the cockpit there, just seeing whether he's having a little drink. Yeah, just sort of squeezing the pipe. So this is where you get a bit of a rest down the straight there. So he was actually just manoeuvring the pipe for his drinks bottle, having a little bit of a cheeky drink there just to refreshen up. As I was saying, it is very hot in those cars.
And with the gap he's got, he could afford to pull over and get a milkshake, couldn't he? He's absolutely flying out there at the moment. So 53 seconds has come down a little bit, but you've got to think as well that this car is flying, carrying an additional 75 kilos of ballast from the race win earlier on. So if that's not a true testament to this Oman Racing team's pace, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, it just is, you know, a testament to Michael, really. He's a great driver, raced against him for many, many years, and he's very, very smooth. He's been at it a long, long time, so you can see how relaxed he is. And we're now coming into the tight, twisty section. You can see there, doesn't take his hands off the wheel. He keeps his hands on the wheel all the time, braking. You can see paddle shift on the steering wheel, going right then left, getting a bit of opposite lock air as he powers out. Now down the long Wellington straight, where he might even have another drink, have a look round. It's always a good time to check all the dials, check your belts are nice and tight, and have a bit of a breather.
So welcome back to Silverstone, round 4 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship. It's the jewel in the crown here this season, almost the Monaco of Formula 1, what this is to it. The big 3-hour race. It's still Michael Caine that leads, Liam Jenkins and Charlie Butler-Henderson in the commentary box. And what a race Michael Caine's had so far.
Yeah, he got handed over in a very, very good, strong position, and we've seen onboards with him as well. We'll go back to him on board, I'm sure, at some point throughout the race. We've seen him having a little drink from his drinks bottle, having a nice rest in the car, but he's making it look so easy, isn't he? He's romping away with it, being very, very consistent on the lap times, just making the car, bringing it home, but still, look, bouncing over the curbs, using every inch of road, pushing this Aston Martin to the absolute limit. As when we see them back on board, you see him fighting with the wheel, really getting lots of oversteer, which means the back of the car comes out. It's a rear-wheel drive car, and they're trying to get as much power down onto that tarmac as they possibly can by being smooth, but at the same time trying to get those laps in.
And here is the leader of GT4 then, still Tom Oliphant at the moment, and this is what we like to see, because you've got to feel like they deserve a bit of luck. They've had a bit of an unfortunate start to the season. They've had some DNFs, and Alton Park went up in smoke, quite literally. Rockingham wasn't too dissimilar, but they managed to get the car to the finish and bring home some points. But now they're back in the lead. They know they've got the car, and it must be so frustrating for the drivers. They know they've got the pace. They've led every race so far, and now they're finally looking like they're going to have a big run. Arguably, like we say, the jewel in the crown.
We said we weren't going to say anything about that, though, didn't we? So we're not going to talk about them at all, probably, because we don't want to give them the curse. But Rick Parfitt will be watching this when he gets home, or if he's not watching it already, in the pit lane with the noise of all the other cars. But yeah, he'll be grateful for that. There you go, bouncing over the curbs on the inside there. There were marker points there that were up at the beginning of the race, but literally within the first 2 or 3 laps, they got clipped. So then you can cut more of a corner and make the circuit shorter by clipping those little traffic bollards.
Definitely. So the leader is in the pits at the moment, so Michael Caine brings his car in, and that's the leader of GT3. The leader of GT4, however, you're still looking at on screen at the moment. So second place is only now in the back of frame, so he's not that far away. But here's the leader of GT3, so Michael Caine in. We'll see if Ahmed Al-Hadi resumes another stint in that car, and almost like it looks almost spotless, like it's never been raced, doesn't it? They're racing it. It looks so delicate, but they're really pushing it. So Ahmed Al-Hadi will get back in the car, and he was a bit frustrated when we spoke to him last time after he just got out. Henry caught up with him, saying that traffic was a really big problem, and hopefully this time, now the race has settled down, drivers getting into their rhythms, it should be a nice, easy stint for him. Also a driver change as well. Tom Onslow Cole in the number 21 Strata 21 team. Aston Martin has stepped out, and Paul White is now taking the reins of that one. So that was just a few moments ago, as you're witnessing a traditional pit stop in British GT here. Of course, the drivers have got to be out of the car for refuelling, and it's a timed pit stop as well. So very intense, as you can just see. It's all about teamwork, isn't it, this sort of pit stop? Now you've got to keep morale high. And
you can see the difference in height as well. You know, you can see the driver just getting in now a lot shorter than Michael Caine, so he's got a little bit of extra padding in there. You can see the elastic band stretching across, which ties the seatbelt away from the seat so that the driver can get in very, very easily. It's nice and relaxed. Drinks bottle being replaced there as well. You saw that cylinder there being replaced on the inside. These have got a single nut, so they've already changed tyres on the pit stop. So it's a little bit of a quicker pit, or a bit more of a relaxed change, and easier for the mechanics, knowing they've just got one air gun with one nut. And you can see Michael Caine there doing a really, really good stint there, and making sure that his teammate is securely strapped in and fastened. Maybe have a quick chat with him. No, maybe not. Just shut the door and let's get going again. So watching the Lollipop Man, he didn't stall it. Very, very good as well. Lights are flashing, showing that the pit lane speed limiter is activated on that vehicle, showing that the officials, that they are abiding by the rules in the pit lane speed limit, which is 60 kilometres an hour.
So Alex Buncombe also back in the pit lane, so that will be presumably so Chris Hoy's second stint about to get underway. And now we're talking about drivers having good stints. Now two who may not be having such good second stints are cars number 26 and 40. Both of those have got stop and go penalties. Number 26 was Wall, who's just served it, and the number 40 machine has got yet to serve it. Now that is a CWS repairs car. Now that belongs to Tom Sharp, so he will serve that very frank indeed. So Chris Hoy is about to get into the car now, and he'll be very eager. It's all sort of just escalated out of nowhere. So you said pit lanes get very busy during green flag pit stops. That's very much the case, as that very impressive number 18 Nissan, it's got to be said, it's really taken the fight to the big boys today, is getting underway. Yeah, definitely. And also seeing Al-Hadi then coming out of the pits, and we were on board with the Aston Martin there, doing a very, very late lunge to a sort of an unaware Ginetta, who's doing their own little battle in the GT4 championship, diving up the inside of the Beckett's-Maggots complex, and you know, it could have all ended in tears there, because if the Ginetta had turned in on the Aston, it would have all been game over. It would have been, and one man who's really hoping it's not is Stephen Caine, because he's just at the fastest sector of all time here today. As you can just see the lights flashing there on the Aston Martin. But Stephen Caine, now that's intriguing, because he's got his way through the majority of the field. Now we said we'd see a true reflection of his pace when he's in clean air. He's at the fastest first sector of anybody, and a personal best lap last time round. So maybe Stephen Kane's either light on fuel and ready for a change, or he's just really getting going, because that Bentley is looking extremely quick right now.
Yeah, he also did in qualifying, he did a couple of purple sectors. Purple sector means that it's the best sector, the fastest that any car has been round on that session. So he just sort of misjudged his qualifying, otherwise we could have seen a Bentley on the front row. So a little bit annoyed there. The pace is definitely there. He's a great driver. The car's obviously on song at the moment. It's doing really, really well. But it just went to the Astons this time. But the pace is definitely there. Kane has done a very, very good job.
Yes, indeed, the 33-year-old who made his British GT debut back in 2010, so very experienced in this discipline, and now really trying to bring the name of Bentley back to the front end of the field. He's doing a very good job as well, isn't he? So also some more short stop-and-go penalties there, number 24 and number 40. But now, talking of pit lanes, we've got Gary Champion down in the pit lane with our previous race leader, Michael Kane.
Thanks very much, and yeah, down with Michael. Now, Michael, Ahmed said that when he came in there was a lot of traffic, but same experience for you, or do you just blast past them?
It's more a case of just committing yourself to it, in fairness. Have to say, the guys on the flags have been brilliant, and everybody in the cars has been very good. So a lot of people just sort of moved over to the left and obviously realised we may be leading the race, but it's tough out there. It's the car's a bit loose, and yeah, it's no, they didn't plug in my drinks bottle, so sort of an hour in the car, I think. I'm not sure how long we did, but without a drink. It's a bit warm as well, and unfortunately my daughter, hello Charlotte, was up all night being sick last night. Oh, no. So not a good night's sleep, but hey, you know, I think we're up there. We're fighting for a podium, so as long as the Oman racing car keeps going, and I'm sure it will. You know, Motorbase prepare a great car for us. You know, we're the heaviest car out there, but at the moment it seems to be going okay.
Well, I mean, I have to say, if we were looking on a super slow-mo, you seem to really work and fight at that wheel.
Well, if I don't, I'll end up in a grandstand somewhere. I think it's loose. So the car's loose, and the problem being is that, you know, we're pushing the boundaries of everything the car's got, as well as everybody else is. But I've got a passenger with me, so it takes a bit more braking. And the car, in fairness, he's good for where we're at the moment. It would be nice to make it a little bit less of a handful for the next stint, but if that's what we've got, that's what we've got.
I should just point out that the passenger that you carry is actually just ballast, and it's only 75 kilos. I mean, goodness me, you could have me in the car, that'd be ballast.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's, you know, propelling 75 kilos at 160 mile an hour, trying to stop it is a bit of a job, and, you know, the Aston does a great job. We're trying to work with it all the time, trying to make it better and better.
It's your fault for having a quick gentleman driver, perhaps.
I think we're classed as an exotic pairing. It's my fault for selling used cars and living in Soham, I think. I've never known somebody called exotic that does that, but my wife's happy about it anyway. At least she's got an exotic husband.
Great, thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Cheers.
So there is his teammate Ahmed Al-Hadi, who currently sits 4th overall, and a bit of sign of hope we've just noticed coming from the United Autosports garage. Now, the Audi came in a long time ago, and in fact over 20 laps ago, and the Audi's now back out onto the circuit. So signs of hope here at Silverstone under the sunshine, warm weather all day afternoon. So fingers crossed the weather continues.
The car that had its wing flicked off on the opening lap.
So back here at Silverstone, Liam Jenkins and Charlie Butler-Henderson in the commentary box, and Charlie, so Chris Hoy now back in under the wheel of the Nissan, and look how calm he is as well. He's looking a lot more calm. He's got some clean air under him. Yeah,
very, very smooth there. So we're coming past the pit straight here at Silverstone, using the paddles on the steering wheel, braking, down one gear, back on the power again. Quite a bumpy curb on the inside there at Copps Corner. Not running too wide, otherwise you'll pick up a penalty. This is absolutely gripping stuff through here. It's flat out as you turn in. Dab the brakes, get the car settled over the curb, then brake again. Got to get a really good smooth run here, middle of the road, tight to the curb on the inside, through Maggots and Beckett's, and then bang through Chapel, running out nice and wide under the Hanger Straight bridge, down the straight there, topping out literally at about 150, 160 miles an hour in 6th gear. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. The brakes, just imagine the brakes really getting used at the end there, slowing down. Even though these cars look quite big, they are actually extremely lightweight. So getting a little bit of oversteer on the exit there, fighting the wheel, not quite as much as Michael Caine was earlier, but as Gary asked him a minute ago, fighting the car through Vale. Now through Club, double apex, kiss the curb, run wide, keep the same amount of steering lock on, kiss the curb on the inside. As the shot slightly freezes, then we pick it up on the outside there. So, and then picking up the Ferrari and then the Z4. So a real eclectic mix of vehicles out there, you know, a real mixture.
Yeah, we really do, and now that is not looking too promising at all. We've got some debris on the track, and by debris we mean, well, that's a very big bit of debris. So the Marshalls doing, once again, a fantastic job of clearing it all away from harm's way. Now hopefully we get a replay to find out whose that bottom of the car is. Either way, that car, whoever it's come off, is not going to be having the most joyful ride around Silverstone right now.
No, it'd be amazing actually how much that affects the car as well. So, you know, the amount of air that's literally getting sort of slicing underneath that car, that now it will be picking up all of the lumps and bumps underneath the car, and it won't be helping the aerodynamics. So Stephen Caine there, Bentley in for the second stop, and what an absolutely phenomenal stint from Stephen Caine there. He deserves definitely a pat on the back and a beer later on today, but what a great stint. Fingers crossed for them.
Yeah, and we'll see what Rembert Bear can do in just a second as well. It's a shame because the drivers want to get back in the car, they want to get straight back out, but with the time pit stops, they have to appreciate that they've got to be outside the car when the car gets refueled. But it does give the time, especially for the driver just going in, to collect his thoughts, get himself in the right mindset, and for the other driver who's just stepped out of the car to give his other teammate a hand and re-gather his thoughts of what he's just been through.
What I like as well, the fact that none of the drivers actually talk to each other when they've just got out of the car. They just want to be on their own because the adrenaline is pumping. There's no sort of advice or anything given to the other competitors. So they've been talking to the drivers and the pit crew on the radios. And also just like to drop in that Stephen Caine is expecting his second child as well. So he's still got it as a dad, putting some blistering lap times there, but he's actually expecting a second child soon. So good luck, and congratulations him.
Yeah, so he's won the race at Blancpain last week, he's running well this week, and of course the miracle of childbirth on the way very shortly. But it's been an impressive stint for that Bentley, and when you take a look as well, we've had another car in the pit lane. Now that was a track speed Porsche. Jody Firth now back taking the reins of that one. So Firth back out there, he decided to keep that car out a little longer, actually lead the race for a while. He's looking to bring himself some more success.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't stall it. He's waiting for his pit crew to give him a wave and to send him on his way. Get the car fired up again. You can see the lights flashing, the LED lights flickering there as the car's being started. Or not. It's very, very quiet, that Bentley. So the leader's just gone past, yeah.
So that's the Acuria cost. So Marco Attard is going to get himself back into the car after, it's going to be said, Alex Sims has driven the wheels off that BMW to get it into the position it is. But this is going to put Michael Caine provisionally back into the lead of the race, and once again on board, Charlie. Ahmed Al Hardy, beg your pardon, after the driver change. So Al Hardy in his second stint, and as we said, frustrated earlier on with traffic, has now got all the track in the world to drive that Aston Martin with. Yeah,
good driver, but not quite as quick. You can see him not fighting on the wheel as much as Michael was earlier on, that we've just seen an interview with. So a little bit of a smoother maybe driving style, but the pace is just a little bit off. But they've always been explained as an exotic pairing. So Sims is out, and what a great stint. You can see the hard work in these cars, load of sweat on the back of the race suit there. These guys really are working. You're strapped really, really tightly into the seat so you can't move, so you can feel every inch, bump, millimetre of the Silverstone circuit and the suspension working underneath you. So really, really hard work. Good from a driver's point of view, being careful there not to get your leg crushed underneath the car as the team drop it down, but they've obviously done lots of rehearsals as well. But still, it is a dangerous place to be, so these guys have got to work hard, and they're adjusting something. Maybe the bit of exhaust, so that would be affecting the airflow coming out of the engine. He looks like he's had a little tap from somebody. It might have been from when Phil Keane was having a little battle with him. Phil Keane, when he overtook Phil Keane maybe on the way into Brooklands a little bit earlier, when Phil did the cutback. It might have been that, because they did get very, very close about 5-6 laps ago.
Oh, no need to call DOI SOS. I think the mechanics have somehow got that exhaust bait in the right direction. And also as well, from the lead of GT3, the lead of GT4 is coming as well. So Tom Oliphant hands back over to Rick Parfitt Jr. That car back out on the circuit and still in the lead of the race by quite a long margin in terms of their class as well. So Rick Parfitt Jr. having a strong weekend here so far in that team. His championship winning teammate from last season, however, Ryan Ratcliffe, is back in his car. He remains 4th in class at the moment behind Jake Giddings. So after all of the hustling and bustling of the pit stop window, which somewhat resembles Christmas shopping, the amount of people rush about down there, it does put that car right there back in the lead originally. So Ahmed Al-Hadi will bring that Oman Racing Aston Martin back to the front of the field again, and very familiar territory this race it seems for that car. Yeah, very familiar place, and we've got the GT4. So so the two leaders from first, I'm pretty sure it is. 42 car of the Ginetta, first place, just being overtaken by first place. We think once it goes past the start-finish line, we'll know once all the pit stops have unfolded themselves. So seeing two of the leaders on the track at the same time, very coincidental. Yeah, very coincidental indeed. Also, the number 40 has come in, so that's Tom Sharp and Colin White. They were provisionally 3rd in class, but we believe they do have a little bit of an issue to serve a stop and go later on as well. So fingers crossed that should be just a straight driver change for them. Colin White will retake the reins of that car very shortly. And as the pit stops have seemingly gone underway for now, we can have a bit of a breather and back to green flag racing once again. The top 5 currently separated by just over 2 minutes, which still, we've had over half the race now. To be only separated by 2 minutes in a class with as many manufacturers as this is absolutely remarkable. So, welcome back here to Silverstone, the biggest race of the season for the Avon Tyres British GT Championship. It's round 4 and it's the Silverstone 500. Liam Jenkins and Charlie Butler-Henderson in the commentary box. We've had a brilliant race so far, Charlie, and once again on board with Ahmed Al-Hadi. Now he's getting some GT4 traffic under his belt and looking, as we say, a lot more conservative in the car. He's got a lot of time to play with. So it's presumably going to be Marco Attard, the 2nd place car overall. Obviously just come out of a very frantic pit stop window, so the positions are going to be shuffling around for quite a while. But we will be hearing from Alexander Sims, Marco Attard's teammate, with Henry in the pit lane.
Alex, a marathon stint, but the car's running P2 overall. How's it going?
As far as I know, pretty good. It was a fairly hectic stint. When I came out the pits to start, I don't know, there was a whole gaggle of cars ahead of me, and I was able to pick a few off. Some went off the track. There was a bit of an incident at Maggots and Beckett's, and I just got my head down and cracked on with it. Made a few good overtakes, but yeah, I think we're 2nd at the moment, so good recovery at the moment.
When you pitted, the mechanics were looking at some of the exhaust damage at the back. Do you recall when that happened? Was that in a bunch of traffic?
I don't think that was in my stint. I think Marco, right at the start, came over the radio saying he had been hit by another car just after turn 1. So I believe it's from then. If it was from my stint, then I don't even know when it happened. I didn't feel anything. So I don't think it's a major issue. The mechanics were able to open up the exhaust a bit. It should be fine.
The car's running really strongly. When are you back in?
I don't know. I don't even know how much driving Marco did. So depending on the minimum driving times for him, I'll be back in as soon as I can be. Try and finish the race strongly.
But it must be pleasing to know that you're in contention to be the first repeat winner of the season.
Yeah, I guess we are in contention, but there's still a long way to go. So take it with a pinch of salt.
Okay, thank you. Back to the commentators.
Yeah, and already Alex Sims' teammate Marco Attard battling for 2nd overall with Joe Osborne. Now we've already seen, Charlie, a BMW war develop today. It's happening again.
Yeah, but the battle of the BMW. We've got sort of the Batmobile and the black car that we can see up ahead. Lights ablaze for both the cars there. But Marco Attard either got caught napping, but we just caught the scrap taking shape. And Joe, very, very experienced GT driver now, raced in many different cars. And he's pretty much the only professional out there now with some of the gentleman drivers and amateurs that are out at the moment. So Joe really is going to be able to clean up and put in some attacking lap times and gain some track position, making the most of it before some of the other teams then later change. So a really good advantage for Joe at the moment, but he's got to keep his wits about him that he doesn't overtake somebody or trust some of the others.
Yeah, definitely, and there's still quite a lot of racing left to go. Over an hour still left here in the Silverstone 500, and we've got plenty of the big names now back in the car as well. We've got some of the rookie drivers coming in, including Pascal Lederas, as we say, the 20-year-old tyre driver in the 29 AF Corsa. He's been pretty silent today, but got that car into 9th place at the moment. Not a bad effort at all there, just in front of the Strata 21 of Paul White. We've got a car leaving our pit lane now. There was Barry Baxter, so the 2013 Formula 4 champion Dan Camish is out of the car, and back in goes Barry Baxter. So that car looking fairly strong in GT4 at the moment.
I'm going to keep an eye out for the closing gap, because I'm pretty sure that when Michael Caine handed over for the to swap over with Al Harthy, who's in the car now in the Aston Martin, who's leading the race, Joe Osborne seems to be eating into that gap, so it's down to 40 seconds now difference, and Joe Osborne is taking about 2 seconds a lap out of Al Harthy. So Michael Caine will be quite nervous in the pit lane, hoping that Al Harthy either gets his act together or just keeps whacking in the lap times, because Joe Osborne is going to catch him and pass him in a few laps time, so it will shrink that gap.
It will indeed, and there is the Barry Baxter car, the Porsche from GT4, just after being mentioned. So fuel going into it at the moment, fuel going out of it at the moment, and the driver change will be surely underway in just a moment's time. But also as well, now that gap between Al Hardy and the nearest car was at about 50 odd seconds before the pit stop. It's now just over 40, and that's with Osborne and Attard, who are both close to that margin. So both BMWs have gained a lot of time over the Aston Martin during the pit stop window, and time so easily won and lost in the pit stop. They really can make or break a race. They're so vital.
Yeah, and it's also, you know, that's the joy of GT driving, with two different drivers of different capabilities, because that's why Michael Caine had to really push as hard as possible to build that little cushion, you know, making up for the possible, either Al Harthy might have a problem, or there might be an issue with the car, or he's just getting into a rhythm. But Osborne is on an absolute mission at the moment, and as we correctly said, he is one of the only professional drivers that's out there at the moment, so it is a really good chance for him to claw it back as we pick up the Bentley.
Yeah, sign of redemption for the number 8 BMW after Lee Moll was out there all on his own earlier on. But this Bentley is lapping extremely quicker than the number 79 car of Marco Attard. So that's the Akira Cost championship winning car. No, championship leading car, I should say, not championship winning just yet. Although it did win Silverstone here last year. So
commentator's curse, be careful.
A very accomplished car. But Rembert Berg, who's come into this season as a rookie, doing very well, and is already starting to put some time on Marco Attard. Now, this Bentley's been carving its way through the field. We know it's pacey. We know it's been lighted up the timing screens, and now it's looking to maybe make a charge for a podium spot. Well,
there's no pressure on him, is there? But Stephen Caine was absolutely flying in this Bentley, so the pressure's on your teammate as well, because you don't want to be there caught napping and do the lower lap, you know, the slower lap time. Stephen Caine is a very tough shadow to fill, but he is doing an absolutely fantastic job, and that Bentley is going very well this weekend. It's suiting this circuit, so it's perfect for them.
And there you can just see a battle over P10 at the moment. That's the Strata 21 of Paul White being overtaken by Liam Griffin, the number 5 Aston Martin's sister, Oman Racing. Instead of being a turquoise, it's a nice blood red colour, and it really is a gorgeous bit of machinery, isn't it? So the 2 Aston Martins, and Strata 21 started this campaign as another Nissan team, of course. The Tom Onslow Cole and Paul White, and after Alton Park decided to make the switch for Aston. Not a bad shout at all, running inside the top 10 at the moment and looking to really try and put some moves on. But that number 5 car looking pretty comfortable out there right now of Liam Griffin. He's partnering Rory Butcher this weekend, and still looking very complacent at the front end of that field as they come towards another Aston Martin right now. But that one is not direct competition.
That's an expensive traffic jam, isn't it? An Aston Martin sandwich there, you can see. Absolutely brilliant stuff. You know, I'm absolutely loving these cars. As they're powering past our commentary box, we can hear them thundering past. The ground is pretty much shaking as they come past, as we've got flashing lights, an impatient driver behind, just giving him a little bit of a nod. We've got a bit of a cloud of dust there as well, so somebody's run wide or just kissed the curb on the inside and just chucked up a little bit of dust up into the sky. So nothing too drastic, I don't think, but these drivers really are still pushing it to the absolute limit, and they will be until the last second.
And talking of pushing to the limits, Optimum driver Mr. Ryan Ratcliffe was under a black and white flag for exceeding track limits there. So obviously the MSA have come down very strict on exceeding track limits this year, and in turn they only get a couple of warnings before severe action is taken, including maybe a stop and go or a drive-through. So for that man to come back into this championship, as we say, replacing Tanya Mann for this weekend, he's looking to try and get that car on the podium. He's got to be maybe a little bit more conservative with the way he attacks these curbs.
I'm sure Jonathan Palmer introduced that. He always said to us, working in his racing schools and at Brands Hatch on the exit of Graham Hill, he never liked people going onto the grass. He said, that's mine, the track's yours. So, and that sort of rule has sort of continued really, and it has been enforced quite a lot. And I've been penalised from it at Snetterton when I did the R-Bath, the Fiat 500 R-Bath a few years ago, and it's a very frustrating thing because you're pushing it to the limit and you're actually using too much road basically.
That really is the joys of being a racing driver, something these drivers are having a world of fun doing. So back at Silverstone, 40 minutes left to go in the fourth round of the championship, and it's just spiced up very nicely for the final stint. It's Joe Osborne that's chasing Ahmed Al-Hadi, and the gap now down to 6.8 seconds. That's for the lead of the race. Now there's the car that's led pretty much the entire race, isn't it? Bar a few laps at the start and so, and having made a few pit stops, the order's shuffled around, but for the most part it has been a very dominant car. It had a lead of over 50 seconds at the start of the second stint. Now that gap is down to just 6. So Joe Osborne has just set his personal best in the first sector. He's a man on a mission, and that mission is to get himself a win for that BMW, and if he does so, Charlie, that'll be the second win here in a row for BMW at Silverstone.
So he was driving an Aston Martin last weekend at Blancpain. Now he's driving the BMW, and he's looking like he seems to be more at home in the BMW, and it'll be really interesting to see now. We're going to start to see the professional drivers now start to take over, so we're going to start to see a whole load of pit stops. We're already starting to see Osborne's teammates just come into the pits as well in the sister car, so we're starting now to see lots of driver changes. Waved yellow flags being waved at the start-finish line past the pit straight because of the Colin White incident. They're obviously retrieving that vehicle. They're retrieving the vehicle, and you guys can see it on the screen just as we can. 3 seconds now, 3.1 seconds. Aston Martin, let's look at the gap now.
Not very much at all, is it? Now they do have a bit of traffic to navigate through, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue, as Joe Osborne lives right around the outside of 2 Aston Martins, and that's very close, but no worries. Joe Osborne
massively held up there, massively held up, which is a real shame. So he lost a good couple of seconds there.
He did indeed, but it's not going to affect him. He's so single-minded now on just getting in front of Ahmed Al-Hadi. He won't care like how he needs to get there. He's just driving absolutely raggedly, that BMW, fighting every corner. The time is being taken out. It was 3 seconds faster last time round, and all Al-Hadi can do, really, what may be a smart idea, is to bring the car in maybe sooner rather than later. Limit the damage, and we'll wait and see if he does go in, because if you put Michael Caine back in the car, we know he's a pro driver. And talking of which,
timing, timing, look at that, on cue.
So over the line they go, and there's Joe Osborne, and I think now Michael Caine is going to get into that car. He knows he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to make this a second win of the season. It would be the first repeat winner of the season as well.
See.
Oh no, and that is the 33 of Porsche. The rear wheel was got a bit ski-whiffed, hasn't it? So Porsche again, we said John Minshaw and Phil Keane, they needed a bit of consistency. They've been flawed all season, and the inconsistencies continue. Not looking good at all for the track speed boys. That's going to limp back, hopefully find its way to the pit lane, but that is a real shame.
So yeah, so he's just either the tyre has, it looks like a mechanical failure, because I don't think he's made contact with anyone, but you never know, it might have been one of those little backmarker stories again. Somebody might have got in the way and he's just clipped them, but he's just literally pitted, so Keane out of the race. They won't be able to get that fixed, I wouldn't have thought, in time or mechanically, you know, but by the time that they finish off. So we've got Osborne now. Look at the gap, it's unbelievable. The pace of Osborne, I reckon next lap you'll see that Aston Martin come in, but Osborne, out of a pride point of view, will want to pass Al-Hadi on this lap to then maybe pit, and it will be a race of the mechanics to see who can do the best pit stop. This is awesome stuff. Look at that gap. Well, there isn't a gap. They're literally on top of each other.
It has really come crushing down as of late, and Ahmed Al-Hadi will be very, very aware of who lies in his mirrors. It's a threatening Joe Osborne, as Charlie described it earlier. The Batmobile BMW is looking particularly aggressive right now, and now ideally the best slipstreaming chance he has. The lead could very well change with GT3 for the first time in a long time. They're egging him on. Osborne goes to the inside of Stowe.
Yes.
It should be a straightforward manoeuvre. No fight from Al-Hadi, and a BMW of AAA is in the lead of the race.
Right, this is going to be really interesting, this. So Osborne is obviously on form. Osborne's already pitted though, hasn't he now? So he's now done his... No, he's got one more. He's still got one more to pit. So correction, sorry about that, my mistake. He's got one more pit to do. So I think he'll probably stay out for another couple of laps, build a bit of a gap, build a bit more of a gap, and then we'll see the Aston Martin coming in, because Kane was ready in the pits there, but it's more of a pride thing, you know. Just a massive, 55 seconds he's taken out of Al-Hadi in just what, 7 or 8, well, about 10 laps or so. It's been awesome, absolutely brilliant stuff. And there we see Keane there with the smoking Porsche on the right hand side from that wheel or suspension failure on the left rear.
Yeah, race cut short once again, unfortunately, for the track speed duo, but you can see Michael Caine, he's very happy with what his teammate's done, however, and he's got every right to be as well. It's been another solid drive, but he may be happy with how the race has gone, but overall, he's just lost the lead of the race to Joe Osborne, and that gap is further extending, so mixed emotions, I'd say, inside that garage.
I think he wasn't clapping, I think he was just warming himself up, going, right, come on, he's got to dig deep now. Caine put in a massive effort in the last stint, and we've got Osborne coming in, so this is going to be a race of the mechanics now. I can't see the Aston if it's going to come in, but I'm pretty sure from Kane's body language, yes, both of these cars are coming in. The BMW comes past our commentary box, and now the Aston Martin comes past our commentary box. Unbelievable stuff. You see the BMW go past Caine in front of us, and there's his team, there's the driver. That's it. This is the race of the mechanics. Fuel, pit stop. Who's it going to be?
It's anyone's guess, isn't it? Now it's BMW versus Aston on the track. It's now BMW versus Aston off the track. And look at that, how hard he's sprinting out. They know how much is at stake and how much this race means to both teams. Al-Hadi and Michael Caine gunning to be the first repeat winner of the season in that number 4 Oman Racing Aston Martin. Joe Osborne looking to make it another win for BMW. This time, though, another team, and already Ahmed Al-Hadi showing signs of frustration.
Yeah, that was quite funny, actually. You could just sort of see Michael Caine's body language going, what were you doing? Come on. Gave him a little sort of polite tap on the helmet, as if like, come on, now you've given it back to me again. I've now got to work even harder now. Thanks, mate. I've been up all night with my daughter Charlotte because she wasn't very well, and that you've given me more work to do. So great pit stop here, and this is going to be awesome stuff. Can't wait to see them back out on circuit.
So both leaders currently in the pits at the moment, and just take a look at that as well. The Bentley of Rembert Berg is looking pretty feisty at the moment. We've got Marco Attard in third, who may be looking to try and take some time out as well. Of course, still plenty of pit stops left to go. Only the 2 leaders in at the moment, but there's going to be a lot of tension in both the BMW garage and that of the Oman Aston Martin, because just look at how much this means to both of them. Al-Hadi has driven as hard as he possibly can to get that car into the lead. He's retained it for almost all of his stint, but it all faded away at the end, and now it's a race off pit road between the BMW and the Aston Martin.
And while these two are in the pits, remember, you've got Attard and Berg in the Bentley that might take the lead. You never know, while these guys have been in the pits, and they've obviously still got to stop as well. So yes, Attard is in the lead now. So the lead has now changed again. It's a 3-hour race, and the lead has changed God knows how many times now. It's been unbelievable stuff. BMW is now out on circuit, so it's going to be... I can't wait for this battle. It's going to be brilliant. I think my money bet goes on Caine, though. To be honest with you, I think Michael Caine is going to really pull something out the bag in this stint.
And it's going to feel like a bit of revenge, isn't it? Because obviously Joe Osborne was the professional driver that time round. It was Ahmed Al-Hadi who was doing all the defending and maybe in a bit too deep as Joe Osborne was ripping it out of him. And now it's switched around on the other foot. The boot is on the other foot. Aston Martin have got their pro driver in. It's Lee Mole, and last time Lee Mole was in the lead of the race, that gap come crashing down. So it's worked both ways. You cannot get it more even if you tried.
So here we go. So we've got the BMW that we've just been seeing with Joe Osborne chasing the Aston Martin. We've now got the Aston Martin now chasing the BMW of Osborne's teammate, and you know, Kane is just going to want to, you know, eat that BMW up as quickly as possible, get him gone, so that then while Attard then comes into the pits for their driver change, should then take the lead back again. As they come into the pits now, the BMW is in the pits now of Attard, so if Kane can keep the pace on and overtake the BMW, which he looks like he's going to in the next few corners, he will then take the lead again. Brilliant stuff,
to me,
loving it.
with all of this happening at the circuit at the moment and Attard on the way, it means that Bentley is going to lead a race. For the second time in 2 weeks, Bentley is going to lead at Silverstone. What a remarkable achievement it is for the Bentley squad. And now what a remarkable achievement it could be for Michael Kane. Up the inside of Lee Mole he goes, and that is going to feel like some justification. A lot of pressure surely relieved off the shoulders of Michael Kane. He's got himself in front, and now he's just got to focus on pulling away.
Yeah, because you've got the BMW. Well, he's got to chase the Bentley now, hasn't he? You know, the Bentley still has to stop though. So it's looking very, very good at the moment for Kane. But at the same time, let's. So you've got Sims to get still in the BMW, who's just replaced Attard, and then we've got the Bentley as well to stop and change drivers with Kane. It's going to be a real charge. So Michael Kane now in the blue and white Aston Martin that we're watching there really does need to just keep on it all the time. Very, very nervous Malcolm Wilson there in the pits, looking on, seeing his Bentley leading again. So real anxious times there. Lots of weights come out that car, you know. 2.7 tonnes down to 1.6.
So you've also got a drive-through penalty for car number 8. Now that is going to be a real screw into the wood, because that could be now job over, because Lee Mole has got a drive-through penalty for improving under yellows. So Lee Mole, who's just been passed by Michael Kane for what should be on net second in class, is going to take a drive-through penalty, and that's a real shame because they've worked so hard to get that car at the front of the field. Yeah,
that is a real shame, and Joe Osborne will be absolutely mortified by that. Absolutely mortified by that.
We'll see how they react to it, as well as Lee Mole may have a bit of a fight on his hands. We've got Rory Butcher will be the next man to them, so we'll see how Rory's done. Now Rory's a sister, not literally a sister, but the sister car of the Oman Motorsport team, so Oman Racing are looking very, very competitive. So we've got Phil Keane there, the number 33 car, also back in the car for track speed. He's recovered to the pit lane after looking a little bit awkward. The wheel was a little out of joint last time round. So Attard in the pits, but Rembert Berg still pushing on in the lead. Another lap led, the Bentley looking strong.
We've also got some extra bits of information for you, and the fact that Mole has also still got to pit, and also they've got the drive-through penalty as well. So it's got to go through the pits once and also do the driver change. So it's he's just done the driver change and has now got to do the drive-through penalty. So not ideal for them, and what a waste from Joe Osborne. He must be absolutely mortified by that.
Yeah, very unfortunate scenes, and we'll wait and see how they pan out. The final half an hour for an endurance race always tend to be either the most uplifting or sometimes the most heartbreaking for drivers, because you work so hard to achieve everything over that time span as a team, not just one driver, but in comes Joe Osborne, and this is going to feel absolutely horrible for him.
But at the same time, it must have been Osborne that made the mistake for doing those lap times. The BMW comes past the commentary box where we are. It's got to drive through the pits. It's the most depressing, demoralising thing, just to drive through the pits. Look at your team, absolutely mortified. But it must have been Joe Osborne because he was catching the Aston Martin. He saw the red mist and ignored the yellow flags and put in a good lap time under the yellows. So it was actually his fault, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a real shame, but a personal best there for Michael Kane, so really starting to fly now. He's burst free of Lee Mole, who's unfortunately dived back into the pit lane, and this has widely opened up the race. And Michael Kane, I'm sure, with a sigh of relief there, because that was a very anxious time prior to the pit stop, and now that man can really fly.
Yes, taking 3 seconds a lap out of the Bentley, so Kane really is on a mission. Michael Kane in the Aston Martin that we're looking at there, going through Club Corner, going wide, turning in again for the second apex. Very, very fast corner that, also very daunting concrete wall on your right-hand side that's taken many, many cars over the last few years. Just there, if you get that wrong, that pit wall doesn't take any prisoners. The Bentley is now in the pit, so just Stephen Kane, the young Irishman, just expecting a new... a new family member, and we've got the Bentley there. So pit stop, Kane's going to absolutely stonk on these laps now. So it's going to be a battle between the two Kanes, as it were, Bentley versus Aston Martin. And this, I can't wait to see this unfold. It's going to be definitely David and Goliath, the big Bentley against the baby Aston Martin.
It really will, and now you can see Johnny Adam and Alex Sims as well. Now these drivers are only separated by 18 seconds at this stage, and that's going to decrease as well. Alex Sims has got a lot of work to do in that Acura Ecos BMW, and he would love to get himself back in front as well. As we say, they are the championship leaders, Beechstein is second. He doesn't really want to let Beechstein gain an advantage when points are at points and a half at a race like this. Every single place is vital. We'll see what Sims can do, but he's got a lot of extra work under his belt, has the young sports car prospect.
We've got lots of traffic there, still races going on down the back of the field there. I think that was the car of Warren Hughes. So we've got the BMW there going through Luffield, and then coming into, sorry, now into Luffield, going through Brooklands, overtaking. And is it going to come in the pits or not? He's now coming in the pits again, which is strange because he's already done the drive-through penalty already. So this will be interesting to find out what's happening.
Very intriguing to say the least. He pulls his way into the pit lane now.
Might be a problem,
does he drive straight? No, he's gone straight on. There's the Bentley. And I'm pretty sure it'll be a double take there, won't it, for the Bentley boys? So he's pulled through. That's another drive-through, isn't it? He's just gone straight through again. He didn't stop on his box, so...
It looks like. He is pitted at the end. No, he stopped. He has stopped. He has pitted. But the team don't really look like they're expecting... Oh, he's coming in for it. Yes, he's done his 7 minutes, of course he has. So he's done, he had the extra 7 minutes to do, working out for the minimum of the 110 minimum that the drivers have to do. So that was that. He then had the drive-through penalty that Joe Osborne gave him. Right, here we go. This is now, it's all unfolding now. So that's the problem. The Bentley now has gone out with Stephen Kane in the car, the hard-charging young Irishman, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this battle unfold between the two Kanes with Aston Martin versus Bentley. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, only 24 minutes left of racing, left to go. And there won't be an incredible amount, about 50 seconds, which 50 seconds has been the magic number today, isn't it? With Michael Caine or Ahmed Al-Hardi out front, and there is a car which almost had it all, didn't it? That Acura Ecos BMW, the gorgeous looking black and blue Z4, has been at the front of it as well. Now, talking about GT4, we've almost forgotten about those guys, and amongst all the excitement, it's still Bradley Ellis that leads the class at the moment, in front of Matt Draper in second, Devon Modell in third. Fourth place is the number 42 car, fifth is Ross Wiley, sixth place Morton Dons, and seventh reigning Formula 4 champion Dan Camish. There's still plenty of action in that class, as well as Morton Dons and Ross Wiley are only a few tenths apart. As on screen, Rembert Berg diminishes Dan Camish and pushes his race on back. So Stephen Kane, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Through, so back in the Bentley. So Rembert Berg will be taking a much needed breather, I fear, after this one.
Yeah, definitely. So it's, you know, a great feeling from a driver. You've got the end of the race. You know, you've got just over 20 minutes to go. You've got a new set of tyres on the car. Everything's feeling, you know, you're quite refreshed as well from a driver that you've been stood in the pits for the last half an hour, 40 minutes or so, watching your teammate get stuck in. And here we go. So through the left-hander, flat to the floor, changing gear up into fourth gear there as they power down the straight, reaching nearly just under 150 miles an hour down the Wellington Straight. As you can see the car there, great shot there, coming into the Brooklands complex. Tight to the curb on the inside, and then heading into Luffield.
Go here at round 4 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship. What a round it's been, and it's only going to improve. The tension levels are rising inside both cockpits. It's Alexander Sims taking on veteran Stephen Kane, and that Bentley has already proven its worth here at Silverstone last weekend at Le Blanc Pound Round, and now looks to take 2 podiums in 2 weeks at the home of British Motorsport.
Yeah, absolutely stonking, isn't it? You know, and this is, you know, right down to the wire. Just over 3 minutes remaining. The Bentley will probably be flashing its lights, really hassling the BMW. Bit of weaving going on down the straights, but nothing too dramatic, so they should get away with that. Bentley, big car against that BMW, very, very nimble car in front. very lightweight, the Bentley, even though it's a loads of weight taken out of it. It's very, very lightweight considering the size of the vehicle.
Yeah, it definitely is, and right now it's going to take some masterful defending from Alexander Sims. He's driven brilliantly all afternoon, but it's going to take that little bit more. He's got to dig deeper just a couple of inches to try and find a way to keep this Bentley at bay, because Stephen Kane would love nothing more than to get a podium here at Silverstone.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very hungry for a podium, and he's loving the fact that he's GT's used to being on the podium from last weekend as well, so he's getting a bit of a taste for this, and the team are really coming together. Lots of hard work being done behind the scenes, and a great driver pairing as well. Kaney has been absolutely on form in the Bentley all weekend.
Absolutely. We've got also Luke Hines, number 888, is still gaining on Greedy, and that's for P5 overall. We spoke about that earlier on. The gap was about 5 or 6 seconds. It has come down, but I think for now all focus has got to be on the battle for third, because somehow that BMW escapes just a little bit each time, doesn't it? And then out of nowhere that big beastly Bentley just claws its way back. And it's almost like a scene from a horror movie where someone's trying to escape an impending doom, and you've got to feel like it is, because that Bentley is going nowhere without a podium, it seems.
Yeah, BMW very, very nimble through the tight, twisty section there through Brooklands and Luffield, and taking a lot of curb there. BMW flashing the lights at us, it looks like, because there was no one in front of him. And there you can see Parfit there getting his boots covered in fire extinguisher dust as well. So a real shame for them. Another DNF for the Parfit pairing.
Yeah, and a disappointing season just ends up going more downhill, doesn't it? Fingers crossed that their luck does change in the coming rounds of the championship, but it's going to take an awful lot if they want to end up back on that top step of the podium. But for now, there's only one step of the podium that matters, and this is the battle for GT3. The Kyriakos of Alexander Sims trying to hold off Stephen Kane's Bentley. Up to the inside he goes. He tried here last lap, he couldn't quite get it to go, and he's hit him, and Alexander Sims spins around. He should be able to reverse that completely with a bit of wizardry, but even so, you've got to feel like there may be a bit of a consequence. So he won't lose another spot. He's 35 seconds in front of Greedy at the moment, so he's not going to lose anything in terms of positions, but what he will lose is a chance of a podium if that does not get corrected. Maybe, was that intentional contact? What do you think? That was an accident?
Definitely not intentional, but Kane was up on the inside. There was enough room for both the cars, but unbelievable. So this is the GT4 battle going on to the last lap, and then we've got the battle going on as well for third place. This is, and we've also got the battle going on for Sims and Kane as well. So we're seeing loads of different battles in the last 15 seconds of this race. You know, 3 hours we've been driving now, and it still all goes down to the wire. Great British GT driving.
And this is why the series has exploded in recent years in terms of popularity. Here is the race leader with 0 seconds left to go. The race duration is over. This is the final lap, and it will be Michael Kane, providing we don't put another commentator's curse on it, that comes across the line as the first repeat winner of 2014. Ahmed Al-Hadi watches on very anxiously, smiling like a schoolboy in a sweet shop. Absolutely delighted with the result the team have put in. They thoroughly deserved it and overcome all the odds, and a very fast BMW. But now they make their way down the old pit straight one more time before heading home to what could be a big, big win for Michael Kane. So over the line he goes. He'll be really delighted with that one, won't he? He's just driven absolutely stupendously all afternoon. We're going to have Johnny Adam in second as well, and we'll have Stephen Kane in third and Alexander Sims in fourth. But my goodness me, what a brilliant afternoon of driving that was there for Michael Kane. Thoroughly deserved by himself and Ahmed Al-Hadi. And now we're just awaiting to see him go over the start-finish line for the final time today, and it will be the 82nd lap that they complete. So a really long race. It will seem gruelling, but the rewards will reap themselves. 1.5 points on offer, so 37.5 points for these drivers here today for a race win. And the sister car behind it. What more fitting way to finish a winning race than to have your sister car side by side with you? And that is a moment for the Oman Racing team to cherish. Over the start-finish line they go, side by side. Michael Kane and Ahmed Al-Hadi win round 4 of the Avon Tyres British GT Championship. What a drive it was, and look at the elation in the paddock. Absolutely sensational win, their first repeat winners of 2014. And there is the man in second of GT4. He'll come over the line now. So Matt Draper gets second. He'll be over the moon with that one. Himself and Ryan Ratcliffe drove gallantly all afternoon to achieve it, but it will be Bradley Ellis who takes the win in that class. And here come the rest of the cavalry, including Modell and Wiley. So that's second, third and fourth over those. But here is leader of GT4, that twisted Team Parker car that's given so much to Silverstone this afternoon. It's been through the walls, it's seen the highs and the lows, and now we'll see the ultimate high, a win for the class as he goes over the start-finish line. Bradley Ellis and Adrian Barwick are winners here at Silverstone very, very shortly. They're still going to get their way back to the main start-finish straight, but it's going to feel like the longest final lap of a lifetime as they bring that number 46 all the way home. But we're going to take some time to reflect very shortly on what has been simply a marvellous afternoon of racing here at Silverstone. We saw some great endurance last week and more celebrations as Ahmed Al-Hadi gets lifted in the air, and that really is a jubilant scene. Fantastic to watch, and it really does make you proud to be a motorsport fan, doesn't it? Just seeing scenes like that, a team works so hard, and that is what it means to Michael Caine. Door open, hand in the air, and that is a scene of pure joy. Another scene which is about to develop very shortly will be this man, because Bradley Ellis will come over the start-finish line very shortly to claim a win in the GT4 class, and their championship bid gets reignited. Didn't go to plan at Alton Park, but here at Silverstone, it's all gone very well to plan. A win for Bradley Ellis and Adrian Barwick, and they will be over the moon with that one as they cross the line to take a win here at Silverstone. As Michael Caine's going to make his way back to the pit lane, a very, very happy man indeed. He was a bit stressed before getting into the car for the final stint. A bit of a battle with the BMW was brewing. It was touch and go whether they would beat it out of the pit lane, but circumstances portrayed. Caine was able to pass the car within the first few laps of rejoining it. So let's just take a look at the replay for what happened for third place then. This is the pass between Stephen Caine and Sims. And Charlie, just talk us through it.
Yeah, so Caine pulls out from the slipstream, dives up the inside. He's literally side by side. He's got... So it's under investigation. I believe that this contact is under investigation, which it is, because he was beside him, and then the BMW seemed to sort of gain a little bit of track space back. But it's touch and go whether what the stewards will do about that one. But you know, a shame for Caine if the position gets taken away from him. But you know that the Bentley has got the pace there for the rest of the year on the future circuits they're going to be going to, especially Spa as well, the flowing fast circuit.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of positives that I think the entire top 5 can take from this as well. I mean, another top 5 for AF Corsa in Guidi's first appearance here for a long time in British GT, partnering Passin Lethura, so his career keeps escalating as well. But Bentley, more than anyone, really did deserve a good result here today. Their success continues. They've worked hard over the last few weeks to prepare for this double weekend. We had the block plan last week, British GT this weekend. Look at what it means to Ahmed Al-Hadi and Michael Caine. It was a bit anxious before they got in there, and now the race is going to come to a close. What a result for the boys at the Oman Racing Team.
Good stuff.
So off goes the helmet, and Michael Caine there once again still looking like he's on top of the world. Maybe it hasn't quite sunk in yet as Ahmed Al-Hadi is alongside him.
Yeah, just keep in the car. Yeah.
So then Michael Caine gets out of the car just before being thrown to the cameras, and Henry's found him down at the pit lane for a quick word.
Congratulations, Michael Caine, Ahmed Al-Hadi, winners of round 4 of the GT Championship here at Silverstone. What a race.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a bit just deserved in some respects from obviously the thing that happened to us at Rockingham. You know, we were held in the pit lane for an awful long time, which scuppered our race. And you know, we've always been there. The Oman Racing Team. What can you say? You know, we're one of the heaviest cars out there, and we still managed to do the job. And I guess the reason why we've got the weight is because my teammates are quick. So you know, he did a great job again. And you know, all we've got to do is ask for Ahmed to keep driving like he's driving, and you know, we can have good results. We do struggle a little bit in the shorter races, but in the longer races, you know, I was amazed with 10 minutes to go. You know, we had 55-second lead, and yeah, you listen for every noise in the car, but you know, great effort by the team, and you know, it just puts us in good stead for the championship. You know, we really needed this one.
And thank you, Michael. And Ahmed, you had that first pit stop in the safety car, but the emotion that you saw at the end there, you know, what does this mean?
Honestly, you know, it was the longest 10, 15, 20 minutes of my life. If it's anything you want to win the Silverstone 500. This is the hardest race in British GT, and honestly, Michael downplayed his efforts because he just did an amazing job. You know, it's teamwork. It's not just me and Michael, it's what's going on behind the scenes. Everything was perfect. This is the one we wanted to win, and it means so much. People have flown from Oman just to watch me race, and that's pressure on its own. And I want to thank everybody.
I still haven't been there on holiday yet. I still haven't been.
I guarantee you,
we could be going.
This win automatically gets you into Oman. Trust me. So no, I mean, it's just a family here at Motorbase, our second year, and I'm just delighted to have won. You know, we've only been on the podium with wins, and this is something amazing.
Well, congratulations, you both. Thank you. And we'll now move over to the...
So, already a fantastic afternoon of racing and thoroughly deserved victory by Ahmed Al-Harthi and Michael Caine, jubilant at the end of that one, as will the other Aston Martin on the podium. It's Johnny Adam and Andrew Howard, the duo that took second place. Rembert Berg and Stephen Caine got the Bentley on the podium. It's yet to be reviewed where they kept it, but still a jubilant result for those if they've achieved 2 podiums in 2 weeks. Marco Attard, Alexander Sims in 4th, Patin Letheras and Guidi in 5th for the Ferrari 458 AF Corsa. Johnson and Hines struggled in the BMW, but got a good result in the end in front of Hoy and Buncombe, Paul and Abra, and then 3 Aston Martins of Griffin and Butcher, and Paul White and Tom Onslow Cole. And there you can see the very top of GT3 there, outside the top 10 was Mole and Osborne. And then right down to GT4 was Barwick and Ellis in 17th position. They won their race with Ryan Ratcliffe and Matt Draper in 2nd place, Jarman and Modell in 3rd, and Ross Wiley and Jake Giddings taking the 4th position in class. So now just waiting the scenes here at the podium, and surely going to be a very memorable podium indeed for the boys at the top step. Fantastic race all round. They've thoroughly deserved everything they've earned, and I'm sure the celebrations will continue long into the night. But first of all, we're going to see a fantastic spray of champagne, I'm sure. Let's just wait and see and await their arrival on the podium. The drivers making their way up now after a very gruelling race, 3 hours, the longest of the season. It's all come to a close, and now comes the fun part. So the podium's about to get underway, but it has been a brilliant race here at Silverstone. Thank you so much for tuning in from everyone here at Motors TV. Myself, Liam Jenkins, my co-commentator Charlie Butler-Henderson. We'll see you again very shortly.
Single make racing at its best with the USF 2000 and Pro Mazda USF Alabama, Mazda St. Petersburg. Monday, June the 2nd at 7:05 in the evening on the High Speed Television channel. Motors TV brought you the United Sports Car Championship from Detroit Belle Isle live. Now tune in to the highlight show. Monday, June the 2nd at 8:45 in the evening on the High Speed Television channel.